Hey friends, welcome to the channel. If you want to improve your reading comprehension and become fluent in a foreign language, keep watching. Los geht's! My name is Dustin. I'm an IT project manager from Germany. On this channel we create content that helps us to be more productive, to learn new things, especially languages, and to live a happier and more fulfilling life. Today we're gonna talk about intensive reading, which is a technique to learn foreign languages by actually studying a text intensively. What I mean by that, I'll explain later. There's of course also another technique called extensive reading, which I won't cover today, but I already did it in another video. This and also the other video is part of a mini-series about reading in foreign languages on my channel. Alright, let's dive into today's hour. First, you know it, a nice sip of coffee. Los geht's! Intensive reading, also listening, focuses on studying smaller portions of text in depth, often with a focus on understanding specific vocabulary, grammar structures, and nuances of meaning. Going forward, I will just talk about intensive reading, but I mean actually reading and listening. The primary goal of intensive reading is to extract detailed information from the text and gain a deeper understanding of its content. That would mean one time you could focus more on pronunciation and the other time on conjugation and tenses. We are not focusing on speed, but take the time needed. This means that you improve your comprehension, but also your understanding of the structure of the language, which in turn will help you to notice pattern and more easily produce the language in written and spoken form. But not only that, we can also train our critical thinking skills by analyzing and interpreting complex texts. So you should choose texts that are challenging but manageable for your current level of proficiency, so it should be comprehensible. As a rule of thumb, you should know at least 80% of the vocabulary. You could also learn with text where you understand less, but it could become frustrating. So yeah, it depends also on your frustration level. And this way you can digest the content while at the same time still having to leave your comfort zone and learn new things. Of course, if you want to work on something else than broadening your vocabulary, then it can also make sense to use a text you know already and to just focus on specific features like the pronunciation or maybe the tenses. You can also integrate activities such as vocabulary exercises, comprehension questions, and discussing prompts to enhance understanding and retention of the material. I did a video about how I use ChatGPT to do exercises with the book Candide to further process the content. I will also link it somewhere here. But also the application LingQ, for example, offers some functionalities like vocab reviews or also the sentence view to help you interact with the material. What's also super useful is to reflect on your reading experiences, discussing insights, questions, and areas of confusion with peers or instructors. There are, for example, book clubs you could join. Try to find one at Meetup, for example. If there's nothing near you, you can also participate in book clubs online. I also know that the famous linguist Arguelles runs an academy where they also discuss books in different languages. Someone I definitely want to join one of those. Combine it with other techniques such as shadowing. This way you could really squeeze all out of the text. This is especially useful if there are not many resources or if the language is super different from your mother tongue and you need to stretch yourself a lot until you can digest more difficult content, and also rely more on extensive reading, especially if the script is different. Talking about extensive reading, both techniques have their merits and combined can really shine. Then only learn for about 15 to 30 minutes because concentration will go down over time. This way also the hurdle to actually start is lower. You can always learn for a longer time if you can stay focused. And then also don't burn yourself out and try to do it when your energy level is high and you are fresh. For some people this means that the morning hours are preferable, and for others maybe it's rather in the evening. Find out what works best for you. Try to find an alert body position, probably not lying down but rather sitting in front of your desk or maybe even standing. If you want to read to relax, you should do extensive reading. And then if you're into gaming, also certain video games with complex narratives or dialogue can provide opportunities for intensive reading, as we are forced to engage with detailed text and dialogue. Then we need to make sure that the game is made in a way that we can actually have the time to read and study the dialogues without being stressed to move forward. For example, within World of Warcraft, you can take all the time you need to read quest texts and to understand them. Or also other RPGs are very useful, especially the old ones like Icewind Dale, for example, or I don't know, there are also newer ones like Baldur's Gate 3 is currently very much on vogue, and yeah. So summing it up, intensive reading can be super useful, and you can combine it with other techniques, especially if there's not much content or if the language is very different from your mother tongue and maybe even has a different script. Intensive reading can make lots of sense until you reach a stage where you can do extensive reading and approach lots of different material. This way, with intensive reading, you would stick probably to a few resources only and then really internalize them. And also, if you want to work on specific features of the language and also want to overcome the intermediate plateau, intensive reading can be super useful, because then you can pick what you need and specifically work on that. Please let me know in the comments if you have any other tips when it comes to reading and listening practice. I've got another video about how to get to the point of actually being able to read a full-blown novel here. Or if you want to know more about extensive reading, then you will be able to find another video somewhere here. If you found the video useful, please leave me a like and a subscription to the channel and to not miss anything going forward. Click on the notification bell. As usual, thank you very much for watching and see you the next time.